Welcome everyone, welcome back to the YouTube of Liquid FX. Here we're going to be going over our weekly breakdown of Euro USD and GBP USD, the two Forex pairs I specialize in. Here we have the Euro dollar on the daily time frame, right? So this is the Euro dollar on the daily time frame, right? But before we begin daily analysis, let's just quickly jump up to the weekly time frame and see where we are in price, okay? So excellent. So here on the weekly time frame, it's important to understand that we are very much bearish. We've been bearish since the beginning of time. This low over here has been broken, and since then we've had a weekly change of character, which occurred in November of 2022. So what we've seen over here is we've seen price give a chalk over here. The chalk is represented by a very simple line in black over here. This is our change of character. And since then, if I make that a bit smaller, we've seen a change of character here. And since then, we've seen price rally up, getting into the premium zone over here. So the premium, just to reiterate, is always above this 50% level. So the 50% level is the EQ. Anything above that is the premium. So the way that I'm looking at the structure is that we had a swing high up here and we had a swing low over here, right? So this here is our 50% level. So we've just crept into the premium. Price just crept into the premium, and since then we had a reaction to the downside. Okay, so it's very important for us as analysts to understand that this reaction was an unsuccessful reaction. What do I mean by that? If this was a successful reaction, we would have eventually seen price break the last low over here, but we haven't seen that. We've seen price give a reaction, but there's been no follow through. The follow through has been very poor. So what does this make this high over here in red, right? This red line over here represents a weak high. And a weak high is, you guessed it, a point of liquidity in the market, right? So weak highs represent a point of liquidity in the markets. Very, very important to understand. So with that being said, the higher time frame narrative is bullish simply for the fact that we have a weak high to target. But look what else we have in the premium. So in the premium, we have liquidity in the form of inducement just below this POI that leaves an inefficiency, right? So what makes a POI? It's priced in the premium, which is number one. Number two, there's a liquidity over here to target inducement. And number three, we've come from discount to premium. So I expect price to get eventually up to this point over here. And that is, for those who are interested, 1.15, right? 1.151 roughly. So with this very high time frame knowledge, when we go down to the daily time frame, how am I looking at it? How do I look at the daily time frame when it comes to a higher time frame bias? Okay, so it's important to understand we had a POI over here in the daily time frame, in the daily discount. So this was a daily discount over here. We've had a POI, right? Now this POI had inducement too. We had equal lows over here. So the equal lows I always map out in red. And price swept the equal lows. Notice how price only wicked into this POI. The wicks came into the POI. We tapped into the POI in the discount. And since then, we've been on a bullish trajectory. So the reason why I expect higher prices is very simply put. We have a fair value gap over here. So this is an FVG in price, which represents an area of inefficiency. And this also is an FVG, or a fair value gap, which represents areas of inefficiency. So therefore, we understand from a market algorithm perspective, IPTA will move up for two reasons. IPTA moves up to seek these fair value gaps, right, to rebalance inefficiencies, and IPTA moves up to target areas of, you guessed it, liquidity, right? Where is the liquidity to target? Well, it's here. Very, very large trend line that's formed, right? This is a daily time frame, so it holds significant weight when it comes to our analysis. This daily trend line marked out with this inefficiency and this inefficiency is the main reason I'm looking for higher prices on Euro USD. If we go down one more time frame just to dissect price a little bit clearer, we have a H4 POI over here and we have inducement over here, right? So we have equal highs over here, equal highs over here at the price point 1.1005, and we have a fair value gap over here on the 4-hour to target. I ultimately expect price to get at least up to here, but eventually I expect price to get all the way up to this region over here, which is 1.117. So this is how I'm looking at Euro USD going into the next week. Generally bullish, right? Generally bullish, okay? Generally bullish. The GBP USD time frame on the weekly paints a very similar picture, I believe. Yep, even clearer. So what we've seen over here is we've seen our weak high over here. This high in red is weak. Why is it weak? Because look at the reaction, everyone. Look at the reaction. We haven't even come in and broken any significant structure. We've just come in, we filled fair value gaps over here, and we've just reacted upwards. So I expect this high to get run, but ultimately we have a POI in the premium. Premium POI, FVG left, fair value gap left in the premium, okay? So I expect price to get all the way up to the level of 1.39. Sorry, yeah, 1.349. Sorry, 1.349 is the next projected price point for GBP/USD. Okay, the daily time frame paints a very similar picture where what we've had over here is we had price initially to start the year, very difficult pair to trade, very difficult pair to trade. So we had price deliver a very large trend line over here, but ultimately the inefficiency is all the way up here in price. So I expect price to give us a nice healthy slight retracement, but ultimately higher to this price point. So the minimum bullish target that price is expected to get up to, the absolute minimum, is here at 1.305, right? 1.305. 305. As a very minimum, I expect price to get up to 1.305. And the reason for that is quite simply put, our structure is bullish, right? So what we had over here is we had price break structure to the upside once and twice, okay? Now, since price has broken structure, what we've seen is we've seen price head into a discount. So price has rallied down into a discount and has since reacted off a bullish POI and is headed higher. So therefore, I expect this current bullish structure to continue, and I expect price to ultimately get up to this weekly zone discussed previously at 1.349, right? 1.349 roughly, okay? So this is how I'm looking at the GBP USD. Again, the daily time frame, sorry, the 4-hour time frame paints a very similar picture. We've finally broken out of this horrible range that we were in since the end of December, November, December time, right? We've tapped into this POI and price has gone off to the races in February, March time. Again, there's no slowing down price. I expect price to go get up to these higher levels, okay? We've broken structure to the upside. So what we could see at the start of this week is we could see price give us somewhat of a healthy retracement down, but ultimately we're going to continue on in with these higher prices, okay? So if you like this video, give it a like and thumbs up. Just want to give people a heads up that we at Liquid FX are hosting free one-to-one sessions once a week for all of our Premium Plus members. So if you're somebody who struggles to read price, build a daily narrative, struggles to develop your own personal trading plan, you're struggling to pass prop firm challenges, you're struggling to develop a daily bias, you're struggling to look at the markets from an algorithmic point of view, you're struggling with entry models, you're struggling with exits or even psychological issues that you may have, Liquid FX could be the place for you. Again, please feel free to comment and drop your questions in the channel. I'll be more than happy to get back to each and every one of you, okay? So like, subscribe, share these videos, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the next one.